Hey Lola, I just wanted to say congratulations. I heard from Steve that the baby was born safely.
Thank you. Because of all of your support, our little boy was born strong and healthy.
That's amazing. Could I come over and see him sometime soon? Of course, whenever you feel that your body has full recovered. I'll go as soon as there's a notice. Just send me a text and I'll be on my way.
Oh wow, you really do have all the time in the world on your hands, don't you? Not that I expected anything more from a stay-at-home wife. Really, not many people who have proper jobs can pull off that reply, Nikki. You're still living well off with your husband's money, aren't you? What? I'm going to raise this little boy, like me, a useful member of society. Therefore, I'd like to keep his encounters with people who are otherwise at the minimum. Are you getting what I'm hinting at here right now? I don't see you as a very useful member of society, so I have no intention in letting my son see you. So, I'm sorry, but I'll have to ask you to stay away from him until he reaches at an age where he can make distinctions between people to look up to and who not to.
What on earth makes you say that I'm not a useful member of society? And however you think of me, I'm still that little boy's aunt. It's only natural to want to see your nephew.
Have you not read everything that I just sent you? I'm trying to raise my son into someone like me. A person who is able to attend one of the most prestigious universities in the nation and will go on to work at the best company possible. Therefore, I'll only let people who I decide are a good role model in that aspect to see him. I can't let him see someone like you, a dumb housewife who only slows down the flow of our society.
What do you mean, dumb? You really shouldn't say that about others, and I'm tired of you saying those things to me.
You're the one who's getting yourself in those situations by acting dumb. Besides, how do housewives even exist in this day of age? Do you enjoy your life? Completely reliant on your husband, while people like me take over the world?
Look, I have my own priorities, and me and my husband talked everything through and made this decision. My job is to organize and support my family members' lives so we can all thrive.
What do you mean, job? You're just doing housework. You don't benefit anyone other than your family, yet you feel like you're a worthy member of our society. I'll tell you what you are. You're a burden.
How dare you say that to me?
Besides, you don't even have children. You're only benefiting a single person. You don't help the economy. You don't help others through your actions. You just sit there and look pretty in the safety of your home. Stop acting like you're doing anyone any good.
What?
Learn from people like me, active members of our society who work at huge companies and support the economy. On top of that, I even gave birth to a child. Imagine how much of a loss it would be for me to curl up in my own house like you. You know, I really wish that people like you would just try to even be a portion of how worthy I am towards this country. You just slow everyone around you down.
Lola.
Could you please just get either a good education or work hard to support our economy? Is it really too much to ask for from you? Once you either get one of those done, I'll let you meet my son. Until then, I'm sorry, but I can't let him even get a glimpse of you. Because I'm not going to risk my precious, handsome, and beautiful son becoming someone like you. See ya.
Steve, I just wanted to ask if you agreed with Lola's way of thinking. Do you really want to keep me from seeing my nephew?
Hey, Nikki. I'm not sure what you're talking about. What do you mean by Lola's way of thinking? About what?
I just spoke with Lola, and she told me that she has no intention in letting me see my nephew. Because she deems me as a useless member of society, which makes me unworthy of seeing my nephew.
What?
Yeah, she's always made fun of me for being a stay-at-home mother, but she's starting to get pretty extreme about it. I didn't think she hated me so much for it.
I'm so sorry that you had to hear that from Lola. I never even thought that she would say something like that to you. I don't think she meant any of that. It's probably just because of her hormones and stress from giving birth and everything. Please, just don't think much of anything she says.
Hormones? It looked like she had some beliefs that were carved deep in her system. It's gotten even worse than before. She even went as far as saying that I'm just a burden to both my husband and society as a whole. If her goal was to hurt my feelings, then yes, that pretty much got the job done.
She really said that to you? Look, I'm so sorry, but probably my fault that she's saying that. I think Lola's taking her anger out on you because I bothered her in the first place. She's probably saying all those things to you because she feels that her husband, is also a burden to society and to her.
What? What do you mean she's talking about you? Are you doing fine? You're not a burden to anyone, Steve. You go to work, you get your job done, and you pay your bills for your family. That's more than enough to be worthy to a lot of people.
Actually, I'm not the one who's mainly supporting my family right now. Lola makes more than me. She mocks me every single day, how I'm being a burden to the family, and that I'm not worth crap. Thanks to her getting used to that mindset because of me, she's probably doing the same thing to you too. I'm so sorry.
Wait a minute. She's really saying those things to you every single day? No matter how much she makes, she has absolutely no right to be saying those things to you, Steve. Stress, hormones, whatever. There's still no excuse to be saying those things like that to another person.
I think she's also feeling stressed from not being able to get back to work yet. It's the first time she's ever left her workplace for such a long time, so she's not used to the worries of losing her place in the office and things like that. And she just loves working in general, so it's like someone took away her favorite hobby. If she feels better by directing her stress to me, then I'm willing to accept it.
Steve.
Still, you have nothing to do with this, and I'm so sorry that she said such horrible things to you. I'm sure that she'll start feeling better and her mental state will get better in a while too. So just ignore everything she says, and things will go back to how they were before you even know it. And also, I would love for you to come see my son.
Really?
Of course. I'll keep an eye out and text you when I feel like there's a chance that you can see him. Until then, I'm sorry, but just ignore whatever Lola's telling you. Wait for a notice from me, okay?
How could you do that, Lola? All I did was go over to your house to see your son. Why on earth would you splash me with water and kick me out?
Because you invaded private property. Duh. You're the one who came over without a notice. You should have expected to be seen as an invader.
I didn't just show up without a notice. I showed up because Steve said that I could come see your son.
What? But I told them that I wouldn't let her son see you under any circumstances whatsoever. How are you gonna take responsibility if you or your stupid husband see him and he picks up on your stupidity?
What?
All that crappy husband of mine does is put our son at risk. You two siblings, what's wrong with you two? There has to be something genetic going on here.
Steve called me over because he thought that it was the right thing to do. Don't talk bad about him for doing this.
What's so wrong about pointing out that a crappy person is crappy? He makes so little that his salary is like minimum wage, for Christ's sake. And now he goes out of his way just to do something that bothers his wife? How crappy can a husband be?
My brother is not useless or crappy. I've heard all kinds of stories about you two from him.
including the way he does most of the housework while you just roll around on the bed from day in to day out. You don't even show your face to your son for a whole day sometimes, right? Yeah? So what? I did my part in giving birth to our son and making twice as much as Steve does. Of course he's going to have to do all of the housework. If anything, it barely evens out when he does all of the housework. Just think about the months of struggling that I had to go through when I was pregnant. He deserves this, and I deserve this. Ugh, Lola. And more than anything, I want to get back to working at my company. Do you know what the best action to take right now to achieve that is? It's to get as much as rest as I can to recover. I lay in bed for a valid reason. And even when I'm in bed, I watch YouTube videos and study for work. I even have to gather information about how to raise my kid into a prodigy. Do you not see how busy I am even when I'm in bed? My brother isn't your butler. It's true that men aren't able to get pregnant for their wives or give birth for them. But this is still way too far. You're treating him like a slave who does everything for you. Wow! I have never been so unbothered by someone else's words in my whole life. It's probably because the person who's talking to me is an uneducated lowlife who doesn't even have a salary. I don't need someone like you to be lecturing me about how I run my own family. You're a stranger to me, and you're a stranger to my son. Please stop acting like you're my family, because you're really starting to annoy me. You need to watch your mouth. Oh, shut up, you useless housewife. You're nothing but a burden to all of us. It's true that I am a housewife, but I started to look for jobs that I can do from my house lately, just so I could prove you wrong. I'm a working, active member of society. And I even brought the money that I made through that job to give you two as a congratulations. Oh, really? I guess you finally came to your senses, thanks to me. But, I mean, what does you, an old lady, starting to work at this age, do for anyone else? You haven't even graduated from a nice university like me. You don't have any notable certificates that make you special, so you're just a high school graduate. I don't need the $50 that you made from working at home for a week, honey. What did you say? I said, what does you bring a few bucks to congratulate us prove? Because last time I checked, no one other than some homeless person would want to take away your week's worth of money. But don't be discouraged. I'm sure you'll finally be able to buy something nice in a decade or so. Just go home in your soaking wet clothes. I don't want you in my sight ever again. And I will not let you see my son for as long as he lives. All right then. I'm taking the $10,000 with me. Your loss. What? Did you say 10,000? Don't mind me. You know, I feel oddly fulfilled right now. I was willing to give you a second chance up until today, but I was finally able to give up on you. I don't even want to congratulate you at all anymore. So, I'll head home. Wait! What do you mean you have $10,000? You brought that money to congratulate us? Yup, exactly $10,000. Haha, very funny. You're joking, right? You told me that you made that money through working from home. That would mean that you made $10,000 through working from home. That's what I did. Why would I be joking? But you said that you just started that job. How would you be able to make $10,000 in such a short period of time? It makes no sense. You just brought some money that your husband made and you're acting like you made it yourself, right?
You begged your husband for $10,000 just so you could look good in front of us, right? I don't think you knew this, but I actually used to work at a very big company before I got married with my husband. I was a system engineer there. And thanks to the connections that I made back then, I was able to find a decent job. I don't mean to be cocky, but I was pretty great at what I did. So, that's how I got paid a pretty decent amount in such a short amount of time.
A pretty decent amount? You call 10,000 a pretty decent amount? I mean, I guess it's doable if you're an engineer, but $10,000 out of the blue is still way too much.
Yeah, I'm pretty surprised about the amount too. I only did easy jobs as a warm-up first, and my employers told me that I shouldn't go too hard from the beginning, and treat it like a hobby rather than a job. But then more and more people wanted me to work for them. And recently, I was finally able to land a long-term job for 6 months. That's how I got paid $10,000 in advance.
How?
I mean, it's a pretty sophisticated job that has to do with system engineering. So the reward is pretty high in correlation to the workload. And I brought all of the money that I was paid in advance in order to congratulate you two for having your baby. Besides, you were the reason I was able to get myself to start working again. But your cruel words worked as a motivation for me to try and prove you wrong. So I thought I owed it to you. But I guess you don't want it.
What? Actually? So you really brought $10,000 in cash for me?
Yes, and my husband didn't say anything about it either, since he has the heart that's as big as the ocean. He didn't hesitate to tell me that I could do whatever I want with the money. You know, he even told me that it was very respectable for me to do such a thing. But I'm all wet now, so I think I'll get going. I'm sorry for showing up in the first place. I didn't think I was hated so much by you. But I get it now. I won't give you this money, and I won't try to see your son ever again. Goodbye.
Hey, sis. I don't even know how to apologize for what happened today. This is all my fault. If I hadn't called you over, you wouldn't have had to go through that. I just thought that since Lola is always sleeping in the bedroom, we'd be able to get away with it.
Don't mind me, Steve. I'm just worried about you. Are you okay? I got a glimpse of your face, but you seem so much skinnier and paler than I remembered you to be.
Yeah, I'm fine. It's just that our baby has been having some trouble getting to sleep lately. Sometimes he stays up all night and just cries, but this is the least I could do for him. I don't make as much money as Lola, so I need to make up for that through housework and taking care of the baby.
You know what, Steve? I need you to bring your baby with you and come over to my house right now. We have a room that we aren't using at all right now, so you can use it. Even my husband is saying that he wants to help you out.
What?
Your paternity leave is over, right? And you're going to work as usual, aren't you? That means that you work for a whole day and you go home to do the housework and stay up all night to nurture the baby. This is just upright abnormal. When it comes to this point, I really think that you should take divorcing Lola into consideration.
Divorce? Don't say something like that. We just had our first child. We can't just break up.
I know it isn't ideal, but the environment that you two are creating is not the kind of environment that you should be raising a baby in.
Why not?
Just take a deep breath and take a step back. Look at yourself. Do you think that the baby is going to be happy seeing you like that? Can you imagine the three of you with a big, warm smile on your faces?
I don't know. Can I really rely on you guys? I don't think I can take this life anymore. I've only been getting an hour of sleep for a while now.
Of course you can rely on us, Steve. Is there a day where you think you can sneak out of the house without Lola noticing?
I'm sure that's the best way to avoid any conflict.
Well, I have to take him to the doctor's office for a checkup tomorrow. He's been getting rashes lately.
Alright, perfect. Then, can we meet up at the hospital? I'll take you over to my house as soon as the checkup ends. Make sure to keep your luggage to the minimum. We can buy everything else that you need. Your sister is working again, and she's pretty rich now.
Thank you so much. I don't know how I'll repay you. I'm sorry for making you a part of this big mess.
Don't apologize, Steve. I finally get to see my adorable little nephew, so we both benefit from this. There's nothing for you to be ashamed of. I'll see you at the hospital tomorrow then, alright? Act as normal as possible, and make sure that Lola doesn't get suspicious. Give me my son and husband back this moment. What is this? Some kind of joke? Do you really think he can just get away with leaving a divorce paper on the table and disappearing? How dare he betray me like this? The baby he has isn't his son. It's our son. I don't know if you haven't realized this yet, but this is your own fault. I can't trust my precious little brother and his son with a mother and wife like you. If you have no intention to better your actions, then I'd like to kindly request you to please get divorced with your husband. Do you really not realize that the person who's going to suffer the most after we divorce is him? That man is only capable of making half of the amount that I make. How is he going to provide even a decent way of living for that child without me? And besides, kids always like their mothers more than their fathers. If we get divorced, he'll end up with no money, and the baby is going to end up with no one to love. Do you really want that for either of them? My nephew absolutely loves his father. As proof, he won't sleep unless Steve is by his side. And he starts crying whenever Steve walks out of sight for even a second. Babies can sense it when someone loves and cares for them dearly. That's just because he's been with Steve longer. Yeah. And besides, there's absolutely no issue with Steve's salary. Because you're going to be able to pay a lot of child support with the amount of money you make, right? I'm guessing about $1,000 a month. Will be better than well off with that kind of money combined with Steve's salary. Steve's saying that he'll have the rights to the baby if you two get divorced. Besides, you love work anyways, don't you? I doubt that you'll have the time and mental space to take sufficient care for the baby. I mean, maybe. Then, you're gonna have to abandon your rights as a parent and hand over the child support to Steve, right? I mean, we'll fight for that outcome in court even if you say no. I'm sure the judges will be very understanding towards Steve, given the way he's taken very good care of the baby since it was born while you were in bed. But $1,000 each month? I calculated that amount based on the government guidelines, so I'm sure the official amount will be something like that. You're paying the full amount, aren't you? Since this baby isn't Steve's, and it's yours, and Steve's. Well... And you want him going to the best universities in the country, right? Well then, you're going to have to pay enough so we can prepare for that too. Because you're his loving, responsible parent, right? But that's a lot. Please, sign the papers on the table. My brother will finally escape the hell you put him in. And he'll live happily ever after with the most beautiful baby in the world. Wait, you guys are serious about the divorce?
Yes, I'm serious, Lola. I need you to sign those papers, and I need you to let me divorce you. I can't live with you anymore.
Steve!
I've held it in this whole time, thinking that it was the best choice for me to take for the well-being of our child. I told myself that this is the least I could do for you since I wasn't making as much money as you. But I was finally able to realize the relationship that exists between us isn't even a marriage anymore. And I don't think of you as family anymore.
Why would you say that, Steve? Please, don't leave me. Please, I'll let you live whatever kind of life you want if you stay with me. I'm paying for everything as of now anyways. Can you really afford to lose me? To lose that kind of stable life?
Even if it's a lot less than you, I still make a decent amount doing my job. If I combine that with the child support that you'll pay me, I'll be able to have a nice life with the baby. Even if we get divorced, I'll do everything in my ability to let the baby live a happy life, so don't worry.
Wait, then what about me? Who's going to make dinner for me? I'm the type of person that you'll never find again. I'm well educated and I work at an amazing company. You can't just leave me like this. And you're going to take away my baby from me? I can't live with a reputation like that.
If I were you, I wouldn't be able to live with how selfish and shallow I am. You're well educated. You work at a nice company. So what? I hope you realize someday that being all of those things isn't what makes a person valuable.
What?
Please sign the papers that I left behind, and contact me through a lawyer from now on. I don't even want to talk to you anymore. Goodbye.
No! Wait! Please! Look, I'll do all of the housework that you want me to. Just don't leave me. Please, Steve. I'll change in whatever way you want. Please just come home. I can't live without you. Later on, Steve was able to finally get a divorce with Lola. Since then, Steve, my husband, and I have been working all together to raise the baby, and it's been an amazing experience. Since Steve is such a nice person, everyone at his workplace has been cooperative towards him as well. He's been allowed to leave at exactly 5 p.m., and he's since been moved to a department with a less of a workload. On the other hand, Lola went right back to work as soon as she got divorced with Steve. Apparently, a rumor has been going around that her husband had left her and took her baby because she neglected them both. Because of this, she's lost her place in many projects which were aimed towards parents and couples, taking away her place in her workplace altogether. Since then, everyone stopped looking up to her, and she's turned unrecognizably quiet.